stories making headlines. American investors encouraged to consider Africa as a viable investment destination. The Vice President to participate in the special summit of heads of state and government of the African Union on Africa fertilizer and soil health in Kenya. National team swimmers vow to work harder as they set their sights on the 2028 Olympics. Dr. Posa is interpreting in sign language. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Now, in our first story, President Masisi met with President Joe Biden's special presidential coordinator for global infrastructure and energy security, as well as Pan-Africa coordinator Richard Nelson. Mr. Nelson oversees the U.S. government's Power Africa, a decade-long initiative to double access to electricity in Sub-Saharan Africa by 2030. Meanwhile, the leader of the U.S. delegation to the U.S.-Africa Business Summit and U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, also paid a courtesy call on the president. The two discussed several issues, including U.S.-Botswana-Africa trade relations, as well as global peace and security. Since his arrival at Dallas, USA on Sunday, President Masisi has met several investors and senior leaders of the American government. Now, moving on.
The U.S. Business Africa Summit has begun in earnest, with leaders in politics, investment and governance now delving deep into the issues that impede trading and partnerships between the U.S. and Africa. President Masisi participated at a high-level dialogue on unlocking Africa's digital potential to address challenges to expanding opportunities. His view is that one of the major challenges is perceptions about the continent.
We are keenly aware that you perceive Africa in general as risky, and perhaps in Botswana's case also risky. We want to hear what is it that you are scared of, so we can remove it from your way. What are you scared of? Because in terms of on the policy front, we have done that which the textbook says we ought to do. In terms of our integrity and values, we've done that which is to be done. In terms of our reputation, we have done that. Yes, we still hold the pula, which is our currency, but it's convertible. So we need to know from you, what else do you want?
The director of the U.S. Trade and Development Agency says risk is a real issue for investors, and to balance the scales, America has come up with solutions to cushion the fears. The current challenge for Africa is scaling up innovations to market.
There is typical risk of infrastructure projects, right? Things like the due diligence that financiers will expect. Things like wanting to understand that this technology should and can be scaled, and how. Wanting to know the project sponsor really well. So these are the typical risks beyond what His Excellency has mentioned that I do think addressing can help to bring down risk for investors and encourage investment. And I said this in an infrastructure roundtable just a little bit ago, where we can help to mitigate that kind of risk, for example, with grant funding, which would help to bring down costs, we should do it.
New age entrepreneurs are driven by innovation and technology, a transition that is still at a nascent stage in Africa. Investors want Africa to focus on laying the right infrastructure to support innovation.
Despite the political challenges, you have a lot of opportunities because everything is to build. And when we talk about AI and all of that, what is scared me to death is, where are our data? Where are the African data? 2/3 of the African data are outside, everywhere else. We need to increase the traffic in Africa. We need to build digital infrastructure in Africa, because sooner or later they're going to bring back revenue. Our data are outside. We talk about AI and all of that, which means that people can predict what we do, because the real challenge in digital is data.
Today, the U.S. Business Africa Summit will shine the spotlight on Botswana, as the focus will be on the Invest in Botswana Forum, where the country's captivating story of success and potential will be told to the world. Kifilo Makatsani, BTV News, Dallas, America.
Now, that story was when President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi cautioned investors against labeling Africa as a risky investment destination, adding that more conversations should be held around this issue to de-risk the continent. Speaking at a high-level dialogue session themed Unlocking Africa's Digital Potential to Address Challenges to Expanding Opportunities alongside Lesotho's Deputy Prime Minister Ntome Majara and 3 other private sector's representatives, he said Botswana is ready to remove any hurdles for investors. Now, moving on, President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi the Vice President, Mr. Snamba Tsokhwane, left this morning for Kenya to participate in the special summit of heads of state and government of the African Union on Africa, fertilizer and soil health in Nairobi. The summit, which started on Tuesday, will run until Thursday, will deliberate on Africa's decline in soil quality of farmlands that negatively impacts agricultural production, capacity and food security in the continent. Mr. Tsokhwane will be among other African heads of state and government, policymakers, representatives from the private sector and other participants across the agriculture value chain. However, the expected outcome include a 10-year action plan which will consider concrete recommendations on action to be taken by African leaders and stakeholders. The Vice President and his delegation are expected back home on Friday. Meanwhile, Dr. Kifente Mzunila, the Minister of Lands and Water Affairs, is the acting president. The Motor Vehicle Fund case manager for rehabilitation, Ms. Lesedi Moalatedi, says it is crucial that claimants should better manage claimed funds so that such money can sustain them in the long term. Mr. Moalatedi shared this at an MVA loss of engagement seminar in Gaborone, where she briefed participants on the assistance they provide road accidents victims. The victims of motor vehicle accidents were further implored to utilize government programs in order to empower themselves. Tsolofelo Tombali.
The Motor Vehicle Fund highlighted that the assistance the fund provides those who struggle to work due to their injuries from road accidents cannot sustain them adequately over the long term. Therefore, MVA continues to engage the public with their outreach programs targeting those who have been involved in vehicle accidents and already receiving financial assistance to utilize the funds wisely for their own benefit.
It's so painful to see anale cover kana support ya cover loss of income aba hitse ka kgodianta ka mjuni ona le dinisi mo tsa dithoka ga gona spesana le so ene ditsala di simola go bola thegella go no ba sena le tseno teng ka moso ena ke te MVA fund isutile ba tsa sthaneng
madia go sa ratela se gore ke se kae se kae a manyenyane go le kae go botlhokwa gore o itse gore o nne aware gore madia ba dirisa. One of the most important things that we do in my December is to budget, to save, to
Victims of motor vehicle accidents are implored to utilize government programs in order to empower themselves and increase what they are already receiving from the fund.
Mandate wa rona le mananeo a leng gore a teng a ga governmente a eseng gore ke a le a hela a leng gore re le mo rumong ya gampieko re ka akanyetsa go oketsa bonyenyane jo e leng gore ba MVA ba thusa ka bone.
I would like to appreciate the presence of Balia and Absa who were with us in this meeting today. We've learned a lot from Leah, things that we do not usually get to understand more because we usually don't visit the offices. Apart from that, Absa has also given us a brief service that they provide. So I'll just say I've learned a lot today.
The majority of claimants appreciated MVA for the financial assistance they have provided over the years. Solofala Tombali, BTV News, Gaborone.
The refurbishment of the artificial insemination camp in Metsimanso, which was partially destroyed by fire last year in August, commenced this month. The refurbishment, which will cost around 100,000 pula, is expected to be complete by October this year. At full functionality, the camp offered them an opportunity to have access to semen samples of superior breeds such as BOTSWANA Brahman, to name just a few. Angela Enos.
The Metsimanso Artificial Insemination Camp, which reopened for use in 2022 before being gutted by wildfires last year, has the capacity to hold around 1,000 heads of cattle awaiting insemination. The fire proved to be a setback for farmers yearning to access superior semen samples, which were available at the camp.
I would say 95% molo wa tawa matshenyo go intsi thata e diragetse ha masakeng so re ne ra senyegelwa ke masaka rona go morago kako ka jalo ra nna le kgwetho ya go sa tsenya dikgomo mo programong ya AI last year ka re ne re setse re dirisitse bonnyane bo neng re bo tshwere re le phata rata ra e budgetela gore maintenance wa ene re ta o dira this year so madi a tsene kgwedi yone re tswa mo go yone so re plan la gore e be le gore tota re setse re simolotse thulaganyo ya go baakanya polasi.
The resurrection of the artificial insemination camps across the country comes at a time when farmers are being called on to robustly improve their breeds.
Ke lebogela lephata gore ba bo ba tsibogile ka bonako se se supa gore tla re mo bonako mo bogauhing jo bokhutshwane bo go ka stokiwa ya kgona gore tswelle run purpose e ne e betswe bogolo jang thata re lebile gore gato re ikaege ka temothuo ka re ke tsone dio tse re di kgonang thata mo kgaolo.
The refurbished facility will come with new technologies.
Tsengwe sa dio tse di dirilweng ke boranyane jo e leng gore ka re le ha modiri yo tlhokomelang gone ha a batla go itse gore go diragalang ka kwa sedibeng a ra le ko lapeng kana le ko kae a dirisa laptop ya gagwe go komela go dirile boranyane jo e leng gore ha o le mo range ya bo around 30 meters ya fence tsweng ho o ka kgona go bona gore motho o batla go irang tota maikaelelo a gagwe ke.
Government is called on to work towards improving the roads that lead to the camp as they are in a bad state, which could dishearten farmers willing to make use of the facility. Angela Nusa, BTV News, Metsimanso.
You're watching BTV News. Thank you for staying with us. Now, Janoga farmers have come together with their village leaders to rebuild and make use of the old water first boreholes in their area. Khosi Waatlensetlodi of Janoga says the decision was informed by the persistent water shortage affecting farming prospects in their area. Marita Kaisara and Atlasaone Olateope reports.
The drying of the Tamalakane and Boteti rivers has negatively affected farming ventures in Janoga for a long time. Khosisa Toji says upon realizing that farmers were experiencing livestock mortality due to lack of water, they came together as Janoga leadership and farmers to find ways to resolve the challenge, especially that for the past rainy season they had little to no rainfall.
Merenera kopa dithuso ko go ba ladybird still le ba shumba plant ko go reyan le Leandri mohumagadi wa gagwe ba ne ba supa gore ba ka re thusa gabedi ba ne ba re rekela equipment ya sediba yotlhe le go hira bodiredi jo e leng gore bo ka dira sediba se gore se te ha se leng teng gompieno se kgone go ntsha metsi.
Janoga Farmers Association chairperson Mr. Getsile Jambwe says some farmers in their area contributed 2 goats each as a way of raising funds that will be used to connect water pipes to those boreholes.
No ka ene le botsi matshakgalo isa itse bua motebe tse re tshela ka tsone mo nokeng di tswe di thabina go sha a di balile re tshela ka no ka re rekisa lo tse dintse tse re di bile mo go yone ja no ka e khadile e be ra gore ke gore bola le rue bola phololo bola le le tswela setho ga re sa tore mo botshelo jo bo itekanetse me be re buisana ja no rona maekalo re dira ja ka re thasetswe jaaka kgosi a sa tswa go bua be re tantsha dipudi kore tu tsa mathombo di te a dira gore re maintaina gore ta bo re le teng
koko ka le Batswana ba ne ba kgobokanya leruo ra kgona go duela boro machine ra bora ba nosa le ha re kgerethisa ka lebaka la gore ga rena sego mme gone re tsweletse sente ko kale gone mo kgaolo yone re kopile metsi ko go regram wa coexist ra nosa ko re kopile metsi ko go reyapi ba Castello Farm le bone barui ba ba nthae ka kwa ba thota eo ba nosa re kopile metsi ko drifters le gone ka ko seemo sa rona se siame.
The farmers averred they are on an initiative to connect water pipes alongside the tarred road to reduce livestock movement and chances of causing road accidents by crossing the road to go and try to find drinking water at the river. Martha Kaisara, BTV News, Januha.
Now, Sejelo Police Station Commander Superintendent Mohomutsi Matlapeng says the sale of home-brewed alcohols in some homesteads in Kanye village is a cause for concern. He says in an effort to curb the growing trend, the police went on a raid targeting homesteads and 8 homes were found to be selling home-brewed alcohol. Superintendent Matlapeng is of the view that some of the incidents of crime in the village, such as rape, house break-ins and causes of assault, could be linked to excessive drinking of such beverages. He reiterated that the composition of such brews cannot be confirmed, therefore posing a health risk to consumers.
Sejelo re ne ra bona go tlhokagala gore re dire phuruphuso re itebagantse le tsone dikgantse mme ha ke bua le wena Maitswana dijarata di le 8 go tsa di hera bobedi re kgonne go di tshwara e le gore batho ba ke ba itirela majalo e le majalo power Maitsu kana ha bonole go jala jwa teng o ta bona le botsogo ba gago e se bone le go bua ga gago tota o bona gore nya motho go apara mme kana Maitsu ha ka itse gore power go dirwa ya o tlhele gore go tsengwa bo east ipotse gore mebile east itsela mo go yone go diragalang mme ra bona go tshwanela gore re leke gore re somarele botsogo jwa Batswana re somarele Batswana ka gore ka gone go tswa letsholo le Maitsu.
Well, that is the news. Thato Kwasimori to take you through the world of sport right now.
Thanks to you, Olivile Samoka. This is In Context, the sports update brought to you by Tato Khosimore. Good afternoon. Let's jump into our top story this afternoon. A team of 12 local swimmers returned home on Monday evening from the Africa Aquatic Swimming and Open Water Championships in Angola. The high-level championships attracted 42 different African countries, giving swimmers a platform to improve their times and try to qualify for the Paris Olympics billed for July this year. Sharing on their experience in Angola, local swimmers Atselana Matthews and Khalil Sethim, both age 20, noted that as young as they are, they need to compete more at such high-level competitions as they face tougher swimmers within their age range, meaning they need to work even harder to prepare for the next Olympics in Los Angeles 2028.
I think the main thing is to trust in the plan and in the training plan that our coaches have set out for us. Obviously up the training, the days and the intensity of it, also the meal plan and most importantly like the mental aspect. And also just to get exposure, going to more galas. The more galas meets, the more meets you do, the more experience you get, the more you get more used to like competing and everything. Yeah, so obviously this is a big competition, so there are girls who are a lot faster. There are also girls who are not as fast, but yeah, with the backstroke, I competed in 100 and 200 backstroke, and I'm quite happy with my performance. They were season best, so that's all I can ask for.
For me personally, I think it was one of the biggest competitions I've swam in to date, and it was definitely nerve-wracking going against some of these big guys. almost double my age. But after the first day, I think I managed to calm down and get racing, not to worry too much about who I'm racing against. Because us being young, around 14, 15, 16, up to 20 being our oldest, I think it's a good opportunity because now when we go for our next champs, we'll all be a lot older and have experience racing at these competitions. So instead of just going and focusing on personal best, we can go and try and get some medals next time.
Botswana Tennis Association President Waitsi Tipe expressed confidence and trust in the 4 national team players who are currently in Hammamet, Tunisia, for the ongoing African Junior Team Championships. In an interview with BTV Sport yesterday, Tipe said he believes that the quartet will perform well and qualify for the World Tennis Junior Team Championships scheduled for June this year.
Tipe went on to say that the tennis under-14 national team, which comprised of Martin Setso, Wincott Semaka and Tinashe Patswane, all under the guidance of junior tennis coordinator Brighton Keteng, reached Tunisia following a bright start of the year. The trio performed beyond expectations during International Tennis Federation's tournaments, which were hosted here in Botswana, Namibia and Togo respectively. The BTA president said they are therefore confident that the team will bring good results from the continental showpiece in Tunisia.
The boys have played a lot of matches ever since January. So, we're confident that they'll give it a best shot to try and do well and be able to qualify for the World Championships. I mean, they played in Namibia. From there, they were in Togo, and they also did the World J30s here. So that's a whole lot of match experience. So we're confident that they would give it their best shot.
The junior national team qualified for the African Junior Team Championships after a successful campaign in the ITF Southern Zonal Under-14 in Namibia in January before competing at the recent ITF tournament, which was hosted by Botswana to prepare for the continental tournament. For their part, the players said they are aiming for positive results in Tunisia as they also want to proceed to the ITF World Junior Team Championships to be held next month.
Preparations for the team, Martin Setso and Tinashe Patswane, earlier on in March, they played the Africa Individual Under-14 Championships in Togo, and they were also able to play some of the World ITF J30 tournaments that we hosted in Gaborone. Also, some of the players like Tinashe Patswane, he's been playing a number of local tournaments in the country in preparations for such championships.
The junior tennis national team took off to Hammamet, Tunisia on Saturday for the African Junior Team Championships and are expected back home on the 14th of May. Katleho Kakwele, BTV Sport.
A Premier League fixture that is ongoing at Lobatse Sport Complex between relegation. Holy Ghost and Police 11. Holy Ghost are already 1 goal ahead with the fastest goal of the season at 37 seconds. The game is currently airing on BTV1, is on its 25th minute. And with that said, we come to the end of a Botswana In Context Sports update. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.